Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Lit Ladies podcast. Today is episode 3, our final episode on The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Who wants to start? Me? Why me?
Go for it, because you've already started.
It was a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
Was it? It was a lot, but a lot of nothing, no substance, right?
It was a 22 and a half page sex scene. I'm really stuck on that fact.
I can tell. It was
22 and a half pages.
It was a little disturbing. It wasn't very good. I didn't think it was very good. I don't know how you girls feel.
It was not at all what I expected from their characters.
Very true.
That's how I felt, especially Adam.
It was like two different characters.
Considering, supposedly, she was drunk. They went out and they drank.
Yeah.
You know, and she had just had something very traumatic happen.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I find it hard to believe, not that she wouldn't have sex, but it would be not for the right reasons. Her reacting to a stressful, terrible moment.
But she was attracted to him. She thought she was in love with him, right? Was that before?
Yeah, she said she did.
So I agree with you, though. But he did try to say, not right now.
Oh, no, he did.
And she persisted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the part I find hard to believe for her character, though.
He didn't fight very hard against her, though, also.
Well, she's throwing herself at him.
No, I felt like he did, though, because he multiple times
when
she looked nervous, or she's acting like she was in pain. He's like, we don't have to. We can stop
And
now.
then he wanted to stop when he found out she was a virgin, which I thought was odd at that point. Like, did it really matter?
He was like, oh, I'm not worthy.
But was that weird? I thought that was a bit, was he trying to be, I don't know.
Gentleman.
Because she's 26. I think she would know.
I think maybe the author was trying to write a good guy. This is how a guy should act. And if he's not continually asking and making sure that you're okay throughout. Because he says you can say no at any time. Which
he did say, I didn't mind that.
I did like that, but it was awkward.
Yeah.
Abby?
What?
Come on. Let's hear it.
I definitely think that he was very different than what his character was the entire book.
Okay,
that's what bothered me as well.
I feel like for context of people who are listening to this, there's also a bonus chapter that makes everything worse.
Yeah, it changes the entire perspective of the book because it's from Adam's point of view.
It's just the sex scene from Adam's point of view.
Just the sex
For
scene.
me, it wasn't that. For me, it was the original sex scene that changed it. I felt like he was completely different, so the bonus chapter didn't surprise me as much.
The bonus chapter made it worse, though. The bonus chapter, I was not expecting it to be that bad. Like, I don't know.
But that's how I was already thinking of him, I think.
Because to me, he seemed more creepy about how he was, what was it saying, like, this girl he's been pining after for 7 years or something like that.
Yeah, like
and then how
stuff.
it said that he like masturbates to her. That's
okay.
gross.
I think I skipped that part.
I might not have saw that part.
Yeah,
I don't think.
I think I skimmed it. Okay.
It says.
I thought I read it. I did not read it well.
Yeah,
you're like skipping.
It doesn't say that word, but it says he thinks about her when he ... I'm like, come on.
Well, yeah.
Oh, ...
Well, maybe I didn't think of that's what he was doing.
That's immediately what I thought, and I'm like, he doesn't even know. But that's red flag.
You're gonna say something, Holly.
Sorry. Well, I think I had told Emily. No, don't be sorry. I'm chiming in. With his character that I didn't like. So I thought I was getting something else when I started the bonus chapter because it was talking about Adam's pining for Olive. Pining, in my understanding, I'm thinking like Jane Eyre. I'm pining after you.
Yes.
Not I'm lusting after you, watching you,
stalking
not making contact with you. That's just you've had a crush on someone,
right?
You know. I don't know. It was a little misleading. And then when it jumped into that, I'm like, oh, this isn't pining at all.
Mm-mm.
This is just the sex scene
from his point of view.
Just the sex scene from his point of view.
That's a good point. Pining, I also think, just like he's loving from afar, not like stalking.
Yeah, there's a difference. I agree. Pining is...
Yeah, pining is like if I don't know. It's not that.
It's more cute, kind of.
It's romantic.
It's romantic, that's the word. I was trying to think of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Definitely.
Not
Man, he said so many things. I was like,
I agree. Even just like how many times the F word came out, and I'm like, that's not him. That's not him.
Yeah.
What the heck? Like, that's not what. For me, that wouldn't do it, but maybe for other women.
Also, like the logistics of it sometimes. Like I was telling you, when he was like eating her out and he was saying words, I was like, "How are you saying words right now? You're busy."
You said this is a fanfic about Adam Driver?
Yes.
I think that the author was a formal apology to Adam Driver.
Yes, I think so too. Poor Adam Driver.
I hope that he's not like that.
But I couldn't think of Adam Driver.
I never
So
did.
At the beginning, that's who I pictured. But then, as the story went on, my image of him changed to not be. I don't know. It was kind of weird.
I think for me, it was just disappointing. Like not just the sex scene. I didn't like the sex scene. I read sex scenes, and there are some good ones. That one to me was not. I felt differently about Adam. I thought it showed a completely different side of him. She didn't stop talking through the whole freaking thing.
Oh,
it was very annoying.
Gosh.
But then even after that. Like we talked about last week, there was no surprise, right? Mm-hmm. There was nothing surprising. It felt like no more substance.
The resolution was really quick.
Really
the
quick.
Problem was solved. I mean, right then and there.
Right then and there.
I felt like, okay, this is kind of changing. Let's talk about Malcolm and Holden.
No, I didn't like it.
I feel like, from what I've seen in my time on the internet, it just played into a big stereotype of people thinking that gay relationships between men and women move really quickly and all of a sudden they're fully in love in like 2 days. And it's like, to me, it felt very much like a stereotype and like, it felt weird and I didn't like it. I don't know.
Kind of another trope. Like the book was kind of full of tropes and I felt like, I agree, it was just how fast and how serious it got, how quickly, and I thought, this is really weird. Like, if it had been from the beginning, that's different.
And then On was like thrown out the window. Where did she go?
She didn't even get upset that she had been lied to.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm flattered. I was like, what? You're
if
flattered?
my best friend did that to me, I would not be flattered. I'd be very upset.
Yeah.
Very.
I think I had mentioned, I possibly did Jason, but that I felt like it was fanfic and that's all it was.
Yeah.
This was not a book. This was fan fiction.
Okay.
Yeah.
In its utmost. Yeah, for sure.
Straight off a wop.
Yeah, well, because there was no story.
Yeah. That's
like it was just, it went.
So I'm not like super knowledgeable about what fan fiction is. It's just fans that see something and then they.
That would be if I wrote a story.
Okay.
Saying, I like these two characters, I'm going to make up a story. And it's going to be junk because I'm not an author.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to be trash.
It's like a wide,
I hear it a lot, but
so it could be normal, like it doesn't all have to be like sex stuff, but a lot of it is, and it's with so like people will write it about like Harry Styles and you insert like yourself, or Harry Styles and Louis Thomason, or
like over the top,
or like with Harry Potter character, like anybody. There's a lot like fan fiction for anything. So if people, there's a lot of like Draco and Hermione. People want Draco and Hermione together, so they'll write that, and so that's what it is. You're just taking characters or people that already exist and writing a narrative with them in it.
Okay.
Right? I felt like a lot of things were missed, like opportunities missed with her mental health, possibly.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Or
she kind of like slightly went there at the end, right? She was like, I don't know, not really.
Well, they never dealt with, why mention her mom, if it's not part of the story, and then if it's obvious that that's part of her problem, or, maybe she needs some healing, but not go into it at all. And like, well, I don't know, I found it strange.
I was going to say about On, the context in which she found out, I could see why she would reserve a harsher conversation for later. Because there was a bigger issue to tackle there.
Yeah,
and it was
true. It, though.
Yeah, we didn't see that. But I am saying, I understand like the initial reaction. She was like, this is not the issue to tackle here. We need to talk about what happened with Tom.
I think she might have said that too, right? She's like, we can talk about this later.
I don't remember.
We have to do this now.
How did you guys like how that came out? We all knew someone would hear the recording. We thought it would be Adam.
I thought it was clever. I thought it was a good.
I thought that was
good
okay.
way to come out
because they gave her the courage. I think they gave her the courage that she needed to say something.
Yeah.
I don't know how I felt about how she is very abrupt when she confronted Well, she didn't even confront Tom. He came over
Yeah.
and she just played the recording, and I was like,
yeah.
oh, okay.
In the restaurant.
In the restaurant. I guess it worked, but that was a bit abrupt. I think it was abrupt.
Yeah.
I also thought it was like it was kind of very dramatic and not really her character either. Like she's always been like very shy, not really what's it called when you confront somebody, confrontational. She wasn't like that, and then she was like all of a sudden she's like, truth time, let's go barge into this interview in a restaurant in front of everyone.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. Like, it can wait till yeah.
Like, there could have been a better time for it. And
I also felt like even the very end, they go on a double date, and I'm like, don't you think you two should date? Like, be alone and talk about everything that's happened? But no, we're going to go to dinner with these guys. It just felt, like you said, I guess, there's no substance
It was
whatsoever.
just fluffy everywhere.
Well, and I noticed too, a lot of the books that we've read, you either learn to love the character or you hate them. You have a connection of some sort.
Right.
You want to know more about them. I felt nothing for any of the customers, characters at all.
Me either.
I was
Same.
just like, okay, it's over, done.
Yeah.
Like, supposedly her best friends, very surface level on everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was missed opportunities. I felt like, but
That's
I didn't
right.
really want to know more either.
I didn't
Yeah.
Me either. I wasn't invested at all. And
Whereas the other book we read, the Colleen Harris, where it's like, I didn't want to know, like, she didn't have to write another book, but I read it.
Yep.
Because I'm like, oh, okay, because I felt some kind of connection to the character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I even thought it was interesting that, too, even the whole professor-student thing, right? Because Adam and her, and then Holden and it's kind of tacky. Like, really? We're going to promote that? I don't know.
It's weird. It's a weird power dynamic.
It is.
It is.
Well, and that's why it's frowned upon and not allowed.
Right. Exactly.
Well, it's technically allowed as long as they're
I
not.
think it was still heavily frowned upon, and they probably should have went into that.
Yeah.
Because they were kind of flaunting it. Right? I mean, to me, it's
They
one
are
thing to
in
be
the same
allowed, but kind of
department.
kept, let's keep it
Down
legit.
low.
But they were like, she was rubbing sunscreen on him at a picnic, and sounded like Holden and Malcolm were living it up, So
In the 2 days.
in the 2 days.
Which, that's why it makes me so mad, because that's a bad stereotype that happens a lot.
And he just automatically knew all these things about him. Oh, he doesn't like that.
Yeah, and
Well,
then
that
also
doesn't
didn't
like
he
that.
sleep around too? Malcolm slept around, so why did it flip as soon as he got with Holden?
Because he just knew, right?
Whatever.
That's what I'm saying. It was just.
Well, they did say he'd had a crush on him for a long time.
Yeah,
But
he
that
has
still
crushes
doesn't-
on
that still
everyone. It
doesn't,
seemed like.
You know.
Remember, like he was like, Olive was like, no, Malcolm came in the room. He's like, do you remember this person I have a crush on? And then she started listing people.
That's true.
So it was like,
yeah, you're right.
whatever. He had a crush on Holden. I bet a lot of people had a crush on Holden. Whatever.
I don't think I'm going to read it very highly, though.
I don't think I am
Yeah.
either.
I think I would. It's kind of like I'm at the pool all day. I would read it. Just something you just read it and then you go on.
You don't have to focus on it.
No investment. Yeah, no emotional investment or.
This book made me want to rate The Maid higher. Like, I felt
Same.
like that's how,
Same.
honestly, that's how
Same.
I was like, shoot. That's
Yeah.
what it did for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't care for it at all.
Because, the maid. Yeah, this makes the maid look better.
Kind
I
of like
understand.
this plot line of this story was like, it's just like a flat line, and then there's like a little bump. It's like a heart rate, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Boop," and then flat again. It just like it
And all the
wasn't
characters
fun.
were flat. None of them grew.
No.
Did any of the characters grow at all?
No.
None of
I
them.
don't think
It's almost like they regressed,
Yeah.
right? Like, I don't know, but it's frustrating. It's actually a little frustrating.
Maybe if they had done it earlier in the book, then it would give time.
Mm-hmm.
But then it would be a whole different story.
I will say that your point about gay and lesbian relationships, it's also true in between men and women in books as well.
That's
like
true.
Bella, how quickly she's like, I'm irrevocably whatever in love with him after a day. So it's just relationships in general can definitely.
Yeah, it
A
does
lot of the
happen
books
a
I
lot
read,
in,
you're going, oh, you're already in love. Okay.
Yeah.
Even we said that with this, right? It was 2 weeks they were hanging out, and she's like, I'm in love.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate. And maybe it's more so in that But it is also with heterosexual relationships
yeah, I
too.
know that. It happens.
It's just
a lot.
kind of a romance, I think.
Yeah, it's a book, movie thing.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
don't have time for
Right, you don't have
I
time.
think that's why I liked the Thorn and Roses so much.
Yeah, the court
Was because
They did, yeah.
not with Tamlin, but with Reese.
Yep.
It was a slow build.
It was.
They
It was
really
driving me
got
so
to know each other,
crazy.
hate each other, know each other, like each other, and then they,
I agree.
then she loved him.
It was
Yep.
very satisfying
Yeah.
for that
felt
story.
like it was more.
You waited for it,
Yeah.
and she
Mhm.
grew, and she had trauma, but she didn't go. She healed from her trauma, and then she's like,
Yeah.
okay, now let's.
But I even
Yeah.
liked that even Feyre she had a hard time because she was like, but I still, how can I just reject Tamlin?
Yeah.
I
she
thought I was in love with
continued
him.
to
And I
struggle,
love that, even that struggle,
Yeah.
because I think
It's definitely
too often
more
it's easy to
realistic,
just
yeah.
forget, and it's hard. You leave
Yeah.
a piece of yourself. And I really respected that as well. I think they handled that really well.
Me too. So then you read something like this, it's hard to not compare
It is.
something with substance to where, for me, when I read it, I just felt like there wasn't much to it. It was just, it lacked.
Yeah.
I did come to like her ramblings in her head though.
Did you?
No,
I
Yeah,
never
because
did.
certain situations would come up, I'm like, oh, here we're gonna go. We're on and on and on. So I thought that was, it still drove me crazy, but I did like it.
I never
At the
came
end.
to like them. They were never endearing. I never, no.
I was just over her.
Yeah.
I thought that was the other thing about the bonus chapter is like half the time he was not even listening to her.
Vance was in his own world.
What do you mean?
Like he would like literally. She has crap. Let me go get my book. Sorry, I don't have it, but I have to read it. Or wait, I'll use yours.
Okay.
There it is. Where is it? There's one specific instance I can think about. You could talk about other things while I find it. I'm notoriously slow.
It's that one part where he's like, I want to keep you in this room all night, right?
Maybe.
Definitely didn't need to be in the book. It was definitely a bonus thing. You could read, enjoy the book, and not even touch that.
That
I
was just
agree.
for all
It
the
doesn't-
horny people.
It doesn't add to the story, I don't feel like.
Okay, because she says, "Do you remember it?" After I feel like she talked a bunch and then said, "Do you remember it?" And then he's just like, "Remember what?" He asks, absent, transfixed, and then she
He
says,
was
"Our first
busy.
kiss," and he does not even respond. He just says, "I want to keep you in this hotel room for a week."
I didn't know what she was talking about there either, though.
The bathroom, was she not talking about the
She was
bathroom?
just talking. No,
No,
in the
she's talking about
hallway.
their first
She
kiss
just
in the
randomly
hallway.
says, "Do you remember?" I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about either.
but it was just I don't know. I thought it was funny that he wasn't listening to her at all.
His mind was elsewhere.
I think it's
Oh, yeah.
funny that he was like, at one point he was like, oh, we don't have to do this, and then he like squeezes his penis really hard. Is that what happened? Right? Like,
You guys, did you not read
Yeah.
The bonus chapter? I didn't read it.
Oh my
I
gosh.
read it.
Yeah,
And you
he
didn't-
did
you don't
this,
remember
like,
that?
to just stop his erection.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
It was so ridiculous. Where was it?
I don't know. I think that's real life, guys. It's like, that or get in the cold shower.
It's just
It was, I don't want to say it was comical. It was interesting how they were both asexual, where they just, neither of them were having sex with anyone.
Yeah.
Supposedly, neither of them were attracted to anyone. They were just all about work,
yeah, and
and then they were just all about that.
then they roared.
You
for
know.
life. I was.
You would think there would be a little more hesitation.
Yeah.
Me and Abby were laughing out loud.
We were giggling.
We were laughing. We were cackling.
We
It says this specifically stood out when it says he wants to remember this moment, store it for later, archive it in his DNA.
I like that part. I'm a
You
nerd, I
like
guess.
that
That's a
part?
bit much.
I'm a little bit of a nerd.
If it
though.
didn't say archive it in his DNA,
That was rude.
He's a science student.
There's
Of course he
science,
said that.
yeah.
Yeah, but it was still like, it was like psychopath kind of like, what?
it was
I'm
funny
gonna
because
say that to Jason tonight.
I was looking into an environmental science degree online, and it said part of the coursework is learning to write grants. And I thought of this. I was like, no, is this gonna ruin my career path? I'm gonna be haunted by this book. Oh, I don't even know what else to say.
I don't know.
I know this one's hard because we came in. We started with the sex scene, and then it was just like black, like a black.
So did it? Who predicted that it was going to end this way? That someone was going to listen to the phone call or the recording? I think we all kind of
collectively thought.
You thought they would break up for a long time.
I did.
I didn't think so.
I wish they would.
I know. No, I agree completely. But nope, it was what, like
they're like, no,
3
we're
days?
moving in. Let's
2
get
days?
married tomorrow.
But first we're gonna double date.
I'm surprised they didn't actually like get married. Like,
No, I'm glad that they didn't say
Really?
anything like that either, because that would have been gross.
Like in It Ends With Us, and all of a sudden they're flying to Vegas.
yeah, like getting married. Oh, yeah. No,
Oh, Ryle to Ryle.
Yeah,
I really wish they would have like broken up for a while, and
like
like
it would have
she
been good for that.
gotten like grown up, and he would have stopped being so obsessive over her.
I don't think he would have.
Would
I
he?
think if she broke
I
up
don't
with him,
think
it
so.
would have been worse.
No, he
Well, that's what
probably
I'm hoping
went-
for. I was
Oh, okay.
hoping
That's
that
your
happened.
fan fiction.
Yeah, I was hoping that they grew up and
That's
then
your headcanon.
they met again and they were like so mature.
Mm-mm.
But,
They're already 26 and
Yeah.
35.
I guess they
But
can't
you know
mature
what?
too fast.
Maybe that's why it was so crazy and weird like it was, because really, I mean, were they kind of each other's first relationships? But they were older, and so it was just wonky. Like their emotions. So like when a 15-year-old dates someone, it's all in,
Yeah.
all crazy, all emotion, all blah.
But is it still like that when
No.
you're 30?
I don't think
I don't
so.
know.
I
What
mean,
if
we
he's
wouldn't
not-
know.
What if
No.
you're not? So this is my opinion because I've seen it in a couple people. So if you have your first and second relationship. So the first one's really, really crazy when you break up. It's heart rent. You're just broke, and it doesn't even matter if you dated someone for a week. It's new. It's new. And so that's how you react. So if you're saving that till you're older, your first relationship breakup is crazy. It's the same, but you're older now. I don't know. I'm wondering if that had something to do with the intensity of just kind of like, I don't know.
I
I'm
guess.
trying to make excuses.
No,
for
that
how
kind
you
of
it
makes
are.
sense because I'm like, well, no. I guess 'cause
Whereas
I'm
if
not
he
at
was
that
a
age.
seasoned, if
so.
he was a seasoned dater,
I don't
you know what I
know.
mean? It wouldn't be, let's fake date. You know what I mean? That sounds like someone who's immature in love or in relationships. That seems silly. You know what I mean? To us, we're like, that's silly. Why would you do that? That's dumb. Why not just say, hey, I was that guy, remember?
Yeah.
Oh, how fun. We met each other again. Yeah, I've actually had a crush on you for a really long time. Why did he's 35, 34. Why did he never say those things to her?
Yeah,
so
why not?
And it's, or just kind of like, oh, I wanted to tell you, you're an adult.
Just do it.
Just say it. And it's nothing embarrassing.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it wasn't
Could have
like,
been endearing and
it could have been, but it got weird. And then how long do they actually, like, know each other? Like, know each other, not just knew of each other.
What, like a month?
Like
Was
when
it,
they were
I think
dating,
it's
fake
like
dating.
weeks. I think they had like 3 or 4.
I think
Well,
so.
well, the end of
dates.
September,
Yeah.
right, was the cutoff for
Yeah,
his
I
grant
think it was
money.
like 4 weeks.
And I think they met a little bit earlier than that, but I don't know for sure.
But they didn't do anything else.
I feel like
They
they'll
did the Starbucks thing.
Yeah, you're right.
And then she saw him at the picnic. She saw him push
Yeah,
her
so
truck.
they met once a week.
Yeah, for 10 minutes.
Oh my god, you're right.
Wow.
So, I mean, all of this transpired in,
And they-
40 minutes.
And they hung out. Wow.
That's weird.
I didn't
To me,
realize
it's just,
that.
it's a bizarre story.
I didn't think about the timeline like that. I guess I was thinking that they met every day. That's
No,
what
it was
my
once
brain
a
was
week.
like.
At 10. for
Well,
like
but
10 minutes or
then-
something
Well,
like
she did
Or at
meet
lunch.
Tom, and he was there at his house.
that. Mhm.
So, I mean, there were
But that
a
was
few.
real quick, though.
Yeah,
that
it was very quick.
quick.
So,
and then
if
she was
anything,
like, I'm out.
it was like an hour that they spent together.
Kind of seems that way.
Oh,
They're like cracking knees.
it was the door.
Yeah, I don't. It was just
Yeah.
disappointing.
Yeah.
Mandy's going to read it.
Wow.
She said, oh, I've been wanting to read it. So maybe
Oh.
she'll listen to our
Yeah,
podcast.
tell her to
and go,
read
maybe
it.
not.
And listen to our podcast.
Yeah,
also
she may
did
love
this-
it. You said that's what books are, right? She may love it.
That's what I'm saying. I
That's
think
true.
she might like it.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to
I
let
don't
me
know
know.
if she likes sexy books though.
You can
I
warn
think
her.
This
22 and a
book's-
half pages.
This book sucked just because we've been reading so many good
Such good books.
I still think
This one?
yeah.
I'm really disappointed it was my pick that
I
sucked.
forgot.
Hey,
that
we're
was
all
your
gonna have
pick.
one that
At
sucks.
least we finished it. My pick
See?
sucked when we read it as a book club, and we didn't even finish it as a book
True.
club.
Yeah.
And then I finished it on my own time, and I was like, I don't know what my
But
problem
then you
is.
didn't finish one either.
Yeah, I was about to say.
That's
Remember
there
when I
is
picked the
one I
book
didn't
and
finish.
Emily decided not to finish it?
I've been staring at it on my bookshelf.
Are you gonna read
You
it?
should read
I've
it.
been thinking about it a lot. I think I might soon.
It's so good, and you liked it. I don't know.
You
what
did like
was
it. I don't know
wrong.
what
It
your
gets-
problem is.
I don't know if it was like
You just get in your own head.
I don't know.
Well, sometimes different seasons too. I think you read a book in a different season, of your life, not of the year, where it'll be, you can connect with it, or you're like, oh, blah, blah.
It was almost like too much.
What
I was
book
too
it?
invested.
The Green Book.
The Green Book?
A quarter missing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I get too invested in things sometimes.
Yeah, but so we do too.
Right. You guys don't know how invested I was in A Woman Is No Man. That was rough.
Yeah, that was rough.
It's still rough.
So yeah, we get invested, believe me.
I think it might have been intense for you because you were still getting into reading.
Yeah,
And that was
Maybe.
Weren't
that
you
was an
moving
intense
too, though? I feel
Yeah,
like
it
you
was
had a
like
lot
right
going on,
before, so I'm
too.
wondering if it was like a combination of everything. I knew we were going to be moving soon and everything. Oh, excuse me.
I think
I don't
you'd
know.
really like it if you read it through.
Yeah.
Actually. And I have the rest of the books. So. Except the orange one. I don't have the orange one.
I
I'll
have
have to reread the blue book.
but I do think we needed a lighthearted one
Yeah,
after the last
Oh,
couple
my
that we've
gosh.
read.
That's
So
why I picked it, but
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
but we're all gonna pick ones that
Yeah.
suck
It
eventually.
had such a great cover, too.
Yeah, I
Absolutely love the cover, and I thought it was going to be something
fun.
cute.
It is a cute cover. I like the color scheme.
It was on Book Talk for like forever.
I know.
And I never heard a bad thing about
They
it.
just must have loved the spice. Is that what?
It was on a spice
With
Yeah.
one scene, but it was a scene.
22 and a half pages, people.
It's because she rambled in her head a lot. I know.
that was not fun. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. We get it. You're nervous or whatever.
You're
All
right.
just
Some of it
about-
was in her head because I was like, she talked through the whole friggin' thing. But I guess some of it was rambling in her
And
head.
she was like, I've never
Yeah.
been more sure of anything except maybe sound theory.
It's a nerd
I think
moment.
she said that out loud.
She did.
Unfortunately, I think she did.
And I don't think he was listening either. He was like in a trance.
I'd like to know how he got her entire breast in his mouth.
Sorry.
Sorry, that one. I can't let go of that one. I can't.
So for like man goals,
Okay.
to have a man worship you like that.
I mean,
I mean, that was
guess.
on a whole nother level.
He did. He was like.
I would be down for some dude telling me, I'd like to keep you in this room for a week.
Yeah,
If you
Or,
do it
and
well.
just, I mean, he was on his
Yeah,
knees
not-
worshiping her body.
he was.
That was pretty intense.
Yeah, but
I was not opposed to reading that.
if I was in a relationship for a long time, I loved him and I knew him
Exactly.
really well. But
No,
this is
exactly.
weird because
No,
they knew each
exactly.
other for
I
weeks.
didn't
Yeah.
I didn't exactly hate how Adam was. I hated it in this context. Like not all of it was horrible, like you said. But in this context it was weird.
Yeah, maybe if he was like a different person throughout the book, it wouldn't have been such a shock.
I
And it
think
wouldn't
he
be
had
so
a whole
weird.
relationship in his mind with her that had been ongoing for years and years,
Yep,
and that
I do.
that was just an outlet of all of that. But it was all in his head.
But she liked
Yeah.
it.
She did.
She was like, oh my god.
She ate it up.
I did tell Jason. I felt like so there was a singer, and I can't think of who was maybe a rapper. I'm not sure, but he was talking trash about going down on his wife. How appalling, how disgusting. I would never, but I expect
Not a
that from
man.
her, right? And then
Of course.
he just got trash from everybody,
Mhm.
and I felt like the book was like, no, it's great, I promise.
Yeah,
Because
he was
you-
into it.
You don't read a lot of books where the man is obviously excited about that.
Yeah.
or they talk quite a bit. I felt like there was a lot devoted to that.
That's very true.
And verbiage devoted to that. Whereas you don't, I've not read a book like that before.
Yeah.
I don't
Some of
think
mine
I've
do.
read one where
I know
they
one
actually
author
talk
that
about
does.
Yeah.
I know one author that does.
I mean, kind of like, oh yeah,
Like
blah, blah,
our
blah.
words
But
and
that
our
was
words.
very,
Oh, I guess I haven't read
that was very in depth.
That was.
But I
was-
think that maybe on trend, the backlash against that sentiment that's nasty.
Why is that double standard there? Because I hate that.
Because men.
We're expected to go down on them, but they don't want to.
Oh yeah, and boys are gross.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
But
My
I've
husband's
heard-
not gross,
but
for the
what-
record.
But what I've heard is that
Are
guys
you
do
sure?
enjoy that. That is actually a really big deal. And I said, well, why is that not ever talked about? Why does a woman feel that it's shameful? And
Yeah.
that's embarrassing. No, don't do that.
Yeah,
No, you
it's
don't
true.
have to. You don't have to. Whereas according to men that I've talked to, it's like, no, that's great. We like that. Hey, y'all need to start shouting that from the rooftops. That needs to be, we need representation.
Yeah. Women shouldn't feel
In our
shame
books
about that.
and in our movies, we need to know that this is okay, that we don't have to. It's
I don't
not an
know
embarrassing
if
thing.
you've ever watched Sex in the City, but
I
there's
know.
there's one where they date. Charlotte dates this guy that
I
is very
think-
good at
I
that.
think I have seen that episode
Yes.
specifically.
And
though.
she knows, she's like, this is the only reason I'm dating him. And it's like, but he's so good at it. And she finally broke it off. But it was funny
sad at
because
the end, though,
yeah.
because there was no relation.
there was no relationship.
just
But he was,
no,
that's
that's
all he wanted to do. And she loved it, But they all joke because they had all dated him for that same reason.
That's funny.
But I just thought it was kind of refreshing to see that that way.
That's not portrayed. It's
Yeah.
always like,
Yeah, exactly.
it's always, and it might be a girl mindset that, that's yucky down there. There's, smells down there. We're sold, products that are, oh, you don't want it to smell like a real one down there. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
We want it to
Babies
smell like
come out.
flowers instead,
Yeah.
Or I heard something the other day, and they're like, yeah, because someone commented, I'm like, oh, she has camel toe. She goes, what? It looks like I have a vagina? Because I do. What is the problem?
Yeah.
We're, but I don't know if it's coming from a male perspective, those things, that, gross, or is it a woman's perspective? Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Who's initiating it? Who's propelling this idea that's,
I think
Well, if
definitely
you-
started boys. They started it.
Do you think so? Because if you've heard men enjoy it, then it must be women.
that's what I'm thinking. Or maybe it's just a very individual thing.
Maybe it's an individual thing.
I think. Well.
I feel like that has to do with
Upbringing, maybe?
I don't know. I think it's a very individual thing.
I don't know.
I think men started it. They were like, this is gross, don't do that. And then the older people got, or not got, but the more generations have gone on. women
I will
have
say
just
that
kept
is one
kept it
good
going.
bonus about the book. That is a good thing.
I don't think you could blame one gender with the other. I just think it's.
say
I
that
blame
men. Same. Someone's getting blamed. But it was good that it was talked about.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah. If we're gonna pick something to enjoy about the book.
That's true.
Yeah, it was sad. I don't know.
Who's that?
It was sad. No, that I just felt like it was gonna be really cute.
Oh yeah.
I
me
mean,
too.
the beginning was, you're
I was
like, this
excited.
could be.
Mhm.
Maybe because it started off with the meet cute, and they're like, but this isn't real, so we have to add all this other stuff to make it.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm not going to suggest reading it to anyone.
Well,
Me either. And if it's a movie, I won't be watching it.
Ew.
No. Did you see that it ends with that the movie got canceled?
Really?
Because the fans were like not having it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it ends with us. The adaptation got canceled, or at least that's what I've read. I don't know if it actually got canceled, but
I'll have to look into that. I did see that the trilogy of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is going to be a TV series.
Interesting.
So I kind of want to buy the next 2 books and read them. And I saw the casting that they got for Pip and Ravi.
Pip.
And I think I think they did a phenomenal job.
Oh, okay.
So
I like that it's a TV series. I
yeah.
think that's
Well, because so
Definitely.
the first one is her solving that whole murder, right? And then the next 2 books is she turns it into a thing and she starts a podcast and like I think where she's like talking about mystery, like a true crime podcast, literally. And so I think something like that. I don't know. I haven't read the second one or the third one.
Oh, did she pass her that project?
Heck yeah.
She did? That's stupid because she didn't follow the rules.
You have to read it.
Yeah, you should read it.
I'm annoyed. I did not
Okay,
finish
you
that.
can be annoyed. That's fine.
That was really interesting because I didn't like that book when we read it for book club, but then one night I just picked it back up and I literally read it start to finish. 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. I just read the whole book in one sitting.
I love books like that.
I enjoyed
I
it.
just cannot put it down.
I came around to the name Pip, but
Oh,
she
never.
has a
Pip's a
friend.
great name.
She has a friend named Ant. A-N-T, Ant. That one I can't get past.
I went to school with someone who was married to a guy named Ant.
That's crazy.
Is that his
I
full
don't
name?
know.
Sorry
I
if
don't
your
know
name is
if it's
Ant.
his
and you're
Maybe it
listening
was
to this.
Antoine.
Maybe.
They never addressed that though.
It was
Dude,
Antonella.
They hate their kids. They're like, Aunt.
No, I don't like Pip.
Pip is
Pippa?
dumb.
Is it
Pip
short
is dumb.
for something?
Pippa.
Pippa's not as bad as
You
Pip.
don't need to shorten Pippa.
Pippa's
I
stupid
know.
too.
Well, I don't love
like
it, but it's
all
better than Pip.
And olive. All? It's not a.
Oh.
Yeah.
You can't abbreviate
Oi.
olive. Oi! I couldn't stop doing that. Throughout the book, I just couldn't stop. I'm glad Adam never said that during the book because I would have been like,
Shoot through the book. I will not.
I'm
read
over
this.
it. Imagine said that during the sex scene.
Wait.
Yeah, I would have read it like all, and then I would have just been done. I would be done. I think the beginning of that chapter, I was like all red, and then something happened, and I was like, oh, never mind. Like it was good for a second, and then it got bad.
Yeah, I think I would agree.
I just can't pinpoint where it went bad. Maybe when she started talking.
That's part of it.
You wouldn't shut
When
up.
she was like, I've never been more sure of anything except maybe self.
Yeah, she's a little nerd, and she also seemed more experienced than she was.
Well, she
Yeah.
said she had it before.
Yeah, but
She wasn't a virgin.
why was she so confident in this? And like, I don't know.
Because she
I'd
felt
say
he was
I
the right
didn't-
one, I
I didn't
think.
read it as she was confident. I read it as she was really.
Sorry.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't think she was confident either.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. She was just annoying.
I read it like she was like seducing him, and she was like crawling or whatever. You know, like
Yeah,
that sexy
I mean-
crawl. Emily knows what I mean.
I do know what you
Sexy
mean.
crawl.
I saw that too. I
You
got
really?
that
Okay,
vibe from
yeah,
her. Where
I
she
got
was
that.
like,
But like
Okay.
not the good one where you.
They described him really well, so it wasn't like he was a 35-year-old professor. You know what I mean? He was
What?
described as like a sculpted god.
Yes, he
it
was.
that Didn't he only get it like halfway in?
Oh my gosh! And you're like, we can't go any farther. There's no more room.
That's what I said. I felt like there was a male like saying, "No, we need to write it like this," because it was very man fantasy.
Oh,
Well,
Mm.
stop it.
That's what.
Well, well,
That's what I told Abby. I was like, this. And I think I told Mom. I was like, if you put this in front of me, had me read it, and told me or asked me, did a man or a woman write this? I would probably more likely say a man did.
But then the bonus chapter, I was like, "Oh, whoa, well, maybe
I don't
For
know.
sure.
I don't know, man.
for sure." It was probably her
Yes,
husband
yeah.
and the cats. They're like, "Hey, you should write it like this." Remember the cat overlords?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Should definitely write it like this.
But it is funny that it, like, when I know it's a fanfic adaptation, I'm thinking, okay, my 14-year-old self on Wattpad reading this about Harry Styles would eat it up.
I would too.
Yeah.
Eat it up. I would love it.
When I was in middle school, I would rage about this. I'd be like in my room on my phone in the dark under my blanket,
Yep.
reading it. I'm like,
At like 1 a.m.
kicking my
Yeah, but
feet.
that's what I was saying. I felt like it was very
See, you're talking about middle school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are
Well,
those
remember
ones
all
like
the
high school?
situations we talked about last week were like, yeah, that's what a 16-year-old would do.
Yep.
That's what your friend who is,
Like,
you know,
literally?
16 would tell you to do.
Just replace all his name with YN.
Yeah, you got it.
There it is. That was the only change they had to make.
I wonder if this is what she wrote when she was younger, and she just published it from it.
I don't know.
Because I wonder how different her other books are from this one.
I know.
And also, who edited this? Who let this go out in the public and didn't do any edits on it?
Maybe they did.
Oh, what if we got the unedited
It's
version?
44 pages instead of 22.
It says loins and it says burning passion.
I hate
They're
it when it said
pulsating.
loins.
Yeah.
Loins is a like an animal.
I think we knew we were in for trash when he put her hand there.
Yeah.
And she fell
Seriously.
through his pants.
Oh my gosh, that was
Come on.
weird. Like, can't you
We were
see
just-
how much I want to do this?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's
Sure.
like that.
We'll
We were
spit
kind of
her
really
top
were
out.
in for it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
I think she liked that too, didn't she?
Yes.
Probably.
Of course she
Yes.
did.
She liked
Because
all
he's
of
so
it.
big and you know.
I picture
Hard.
tiny hands.
But that's
and
what I'm
she's like,
saying, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was a little silly.
Oh, that was the other thing we talked about. I hate when he's like talking about how small she is.
Yes, like that's gross.
Yeah.
She didn't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, she thought it was hot.
I thought so.
She's like, oh my gosh, I'm
You're
so
so
small.
You're so small.
I'm so tight.
Ah.
But that's like the male stereotype of
Mhm.
what great sex is.
It's true.
A little girl
That's
who
gross.
hasn't had sex. No, seriously.
you're
but
right.
it's the far disgusting, where it's, you know, not love. Gross. We're gonna find out later. There's gonna be like the secret something uncovered scandal where she didn't write it at all. It was her husband. And he's like, I can't write this because people think I'm a pervert. We'll put your name on it and it'll just be spicy.
That's a scandal.
That's
Hmm.
a scandal.
You heard it here first, folks.
Just saying, if it comes out in a couple years.
We said it. It's on our podcast.
That would be good.
Oh, it was fun to read though. I think it was distraction read.
It was very mindless. Very like, okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Get over
garbage
it.
read it like I do other stuff though. Other stuff I'm just like, I gotta read it. I can't stop, and felt like I didn't.
No, I didn't want to pick it up.
I just wanted to finish it.
I just wanted to finish it.
I was just like, I'm done. Just
This
read it.
was the first
Let's get
book
through it.
that I finished 1 or 2
Early.
days after book club.
Oh.
That
Each
I never
week,
do
yeah.
that. I'm a procrastinator. I read it Tuesday and Wednesday right before book
Which is
club.
also sometimes a good thing because it's fresh.
Yes. But I'm
This one
also
was like-
stress reading.
Yeah. Well, let's hope the next one's better.
I hope it will
Mom's
be.
big. Mom's big. She always has the good picks.
Well, it's bound to be a bad one at one point.
Watch this one's
Are you going to
terrible.
introduce it on the podcast?
Yeah.
Or we
Yeah,
wait
talk
until
about it.
next week to talk about
Tell us
to
what it is.
introduce
I don't have it with me.
Here, I have it.
Mine's right here.
Okay. It's The Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulay.
I don't know how to say it. I think I'm gonna look up pronunciations maybe so that we can be.
So is this a newer book or is this an older book? Do we know?
I think it's relatively new. I was going back and forth. I had about 4 books that I wanted to choose, and then I narrowed it down to 2, and this one was the highest reviewed.
Oh, okay.
The other one was reviewed highly too, but and it has a mystery. It's a murder mystery. She's Native American, and it seems like there's a lot of culture in it. So I thought it might be. I'm hoping it's not as heavy as A Woman Is No Man,
Yeah.
but it sounds like it'd be really that it's more. There's substance and a lot of culture, which I'm very interested in learning.
Yeah, I know. I'm
So-
excited about that.
Yeah,
The cover is really pretty.
it says it's YA.
Oh,
nice.
So what is YA?
Young
I
adult.
don't, okay, I'm like, I don't
Young
know
adult,
what that is.
yeah.
So like Harry Potter and
Okay.
Twilight and
All the good books.
Hunger Games. Yeah. So I figured, yeah, that wasn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll have good things to talk about. It's pretty long, so
Definitely more things to talk
Oh
about.
yeah, you split it between 3 weeks.
4.
4 because
Four
part
weeks.
2 is like 300 and some pages, so I
Oh,
thought
wow.
that's probably
But the
too
author
much.
separated it, so we're reading it how it should be written, right?
Yeah,
Read?
I just made part 2 2 parts
Okay.
because
Yeah,
it was so long. But
yeah.
I didn't want to go into part 2 on week, you know.
Yeah, because this last one we broke it right as
Oh my gosh,
my
how
gosh.
the hotel room, like
I didn't even know. I didn't know.
10 minutes in. Oh, gotta wait till next week.
But man, there's no like chapters, so I had to actually flip through the book.
Oh.
So
Okay.
there's no table of contents. Maybe that's old
Okay.
school now. I don't know, but yeah.
I did notice that the actual story almost goes cover to cover.
Mhm. Yeah.
I like that.
So
It kind of feels like the
This
stories end close.
the story ends right here. This is author's note and something else, and then
Picture.
you're literally
mhm.
it starts and then
Oh, it doesn't say. Oh wait. It's such
Oh yeah, maybe we might have to look up how to say stuff.
Yeah, I'm sorry if
At
the
least for
names
the
are bad.
podcast anyway, so we don't
I'm
butcher it.
wondering.
Oh,
I
that's true.
don't
Not while we're
know.
reading it, but just for the podcast.
I don't know if this is fiction, but based on a real tribe.
I'm not sure. I think so. I think it's
So
pretty.
I'm gonna look it up
Mhm.
and look up this reservation and just see what I can find out that way. But I am really excited to read.
I'm kind of intimidated by it.
Are you?
Just because I don't know a lot about the culture, so I don't want to be. Well, I'm going to be ignorant, but I'm just like, when we're reading it, I don't want to sound like stupid.
Well, that's why
But
I'm
that's part of
excited.
it, I
That's
think.
why
We're
I'm
all learning
excited
together.
to read it, is so that I can learn about it. You know,
We didn't know a lot about
yeah.
Palestinian and that kind of
Yeah,
culture.
yeah,
Not. I mean,
that's
I
true,
guess we
yeah.
knew some, or we thought we did.
We thought we did.
I really didn't know.
So I think this is just coming in with an open mind and learning, you know. So, because I don't know a lot about it either, which is sad, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
sad. I know Alaska, there was a lot. They're very prominent there,
Yeah,
more
there's a lot of
prominent, and
native.
a lot of culture, and it's very respected there, and I really appreciated that. So,
Yeah.
but that's probably the closest I've been to that kind of community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Pretty covers on down.
It
It's
is a
super
gorgeous
pretty.
cover. It is. I accidentally bought the $16 version, and then I found the cheaper version, so I canceled the other one and got the cheaper one.
It'll look good on the
saw
ground.
it first.
It will look nice.
Look, good things for it.
Yeah, is that
Oh,
about? I
I'm
think that's
so
a wrap.
sorry.
No, I'm just saying, I feel sad that there's just, I mean, we've had other books
Yeah.
that we just can't shut up about.
And then this one we can.
That's
Think
just because
that-
something big happened, and then it was like, what? So it was hard to talk about anything else that happened in the book than just what came right at you.
Yeah, not much happened.
It's bad wording.
I was gonna say interesting choice of words there.
Okay.
Well, next week or this week, I guess, we're starting a new book. You introduced it. What is it called?
The Firekeeper's Daughter.
The Firekeeper's Daughter, by Angeline Woolley.
Okay.
So are you going to post on Instagram the breakdown of how we're reading if anyone
Yeah,
wants
I'll
to read
do.
along with us?
Oh, that's what I did for the little cup.
Yeah, read along. Be fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be good.
Please read
Because
along.
then they'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
We want
definitely.
audience to interact with us because I want to hear what people have to say about
I know.
this.
I'm really curious what people think.
8 followers.
Yeah,
Yay,
we got
so
followers.
that's exciting.
Yay.
Yeah. What was I gonna? I also wanted to add, if you are listening to our podcast on YouTube or Spotify or whatever, and you have comments or feedback for us, we have an email. It's litladiesbookclub22@gmail.com. So anything, you could be as mean as you want. We'll only cry a little bit.
Maybe we could take the first few minutes of the podcast and answer
Answer
questions
That
and
would be
respond to your comments.
That
Yeah.
would be fun.
So we'd love that.
litladiesbookclub22@gmail.com. We should
Or
add
our
it to our
DMs.
or Instagram DMs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Send us a message.
Yeah, we're responsible.
Let's talk.
All right, everybody. That was episode 3 of the Love Hypothesis. Listen to us on Spotify and at YouTube at the Lit Ladies Book Club. Follow us on Instagram, and we will see you next Saturday with our news.